All right, so now that this side can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the brush out that section so it's nice and clean and I'm not fighting a bunch of tangles. I'm gonna put the brush behind. I'm bringing the blow dryer over, keeping the back of the brush towards the head, and then I'm coming through in a diagonal. Have any of you guys done this kind of movement before? This kind of texture? I think it's a great alternative to show people rather than round brushing their hair. And it's actually something that's really repeatable at home. Because if I was doing this at home in the mirror, here's my process. I pick up my section, I put my brush behind, flip my brush this way, pick up my blow dryer, and I pull the hair forward. Is that way easier than doing this with a round brush? Tons easier, and it's a more modern texture. So this is a great technique to show a client. So bring it in, flat to the head, and diagonal through it. Keeping it nice and hot. Heat is our friend, but the nice thing is with our dryer, you're not going to get the hair overheated. If it's really baby fine hair, you can definitely turn this down to medium heat, and even on medium heat, it's going to be plenty of heat to refine a finer hair texture. So are you guys learning something? Yes? Is this something you can do in the salon? All right, good. When Sam and I first talked about me coming on board, I told him, Sam, my vision is that I want to teach hairdressers. I've taught in the schools for a long time and I want to start teaching hairdressers now. Because there's a lot of hairdressers out there that are really wanting a fresh education. And honestly, they don't want it on a lofty level. They want it on like a personal level that's really understandable. And that's how I talk to my clientele in my salon, or not my clientele, but my staff in my salon. I talk to them just like we're normal human beings. Because as soon as I start to talk over everyone's head and think that I'm better, I'm gonna lose you guys. And for me, it's really important that I stay with you and that I teach you something that's very fresh and very reasonable. It's something that you can do in the salon. I have clips exploding off of me. What's going on? All right, so what I am going to do differently on this upper surface is instead of curling it back and away from the face, because I actually don't want this hair to do this at the root, I want it to do this. And that's what we have to think about in our head, like how do you want the root direction to go, and then where do you want the mid-shaft and end direction to go? And that's really essential to our blow dries, because if I wrap this way, it's going to fall entirely different than if I wrap it this way. So I'm going to take that vertical section again, and what's the difference between a vertical section and a horizontal section? Vertical sections create, flip it around. You knew it as soon as you said it. Vertical sections take away weight. They make things leaner and softer. Horizontal creates more weight. So if I do the same technique in a horizontal section, I'm actually going to leave more weight and more fullness to the hair. By taking more vertical sections, what I'm creating is a really lean type of a shape. Which again, we're not looking for goofy hair. This isn't the 70s. So by taking those vertical sections, I still get texture, but I get lean texture. And that's something that you can do with your round brushing too. Do exactly what you normally do when you round brush hair. Do it in a vertical section and in a diagonal section and see what a difference you get. Because I think sometimes we just get into our old habits, right? We pick up the same bottle of product. We pick up the same scissors we've been using for 10 years. We do the same haircut as we're just kind of blabbing along. So it's important that we try new things each time and see, okay, what's the result? What do I like about that result? What do I hate about that result? Have any of you guys ever read the book Outliers? No? This is a good book. If you like to read books about what makes people successful, you should check out Outliers. It's Malcolm Gladwell. And basically what it talks about is that in success, it's not exactly what you always think it is. And one of the things that he talked about is that everyone that he interviewed that was massively successful, whether it's artistically or business, they had put at least 10,000 hours of mindful practice into their craft. And he said after 10 years or 10,000 hours of mindful practice, and I thought that was really the interesting part, is how many of us are mindfully practicing all day while we're in the salon. Sometimes we're just going through the motions, right? So my challenge to you is at least schedule some mindful practice time. Get out a doll head and grab your blow dryer, grab your brushes, get your salon together, pour each other a glass of wine, sit around and blow dry hair for a night. I mean, how much do you think you could learn by just sitting around and blow drying hair with your coworkers and asking them, well, what would you do here? We have a new thing that we're doing in the salon, and we don't put product in the hair until we've asked someone else what they would do instead. How would that be? Because I guarantee most of us are probably picking up the same hair products each time we pick up a bottle of product. And so, by asking someone else, it gives me a new perspective. It says, oh, okay, yeah, I never thought of using that exact product on this hair texture. So, really important to change up your program. I'm going to be honest, the hair industry almost lost me about 6 years ago. I just got bored, and I got burnt out, and I had been traveling 3 and 4 weeks out of a month, and I was just tired. I didn't have any fuel left. It was like Sammy was talking about retreading the tires on your bus, and I was this close to just doing a whole new thing. And what reignited my passion for hair was I bought a salon, and then I had to train again, and I had to develop a staff, and that was what woke me up and what got my passion going again. And now I get to do this. I get to be up on stage with you guys, and I'll tell you what, when I get back to the salon, I'm going to be extremely, extremely excited to get back into the salon. Sammy's trying to rush me off the stage here. Sure, he gets the pretty models. All I get is little Erica here. Where is he? Alright, so you seeing this texture develop? Is this a cool texture? Is it a modern texture? You liking it? Thank you, I appreciate the applause. Like I said, guys, I want something that you guys can replicate at home. I don't want to teach you something silly that is above your head or goofy or unrelatable to your money clientele. Since I am starting to run out of time a little bit, I'm going to pause there. I didn't blow dry this very, very center underneath, but that's okay. We're going to let it be. But you can see this texture. Now we have all these crazy disconnections in here, and you see all those pieces. That's cool, right? Yeah. And here's what texture is. Texture isn't necessarily the short piece and the long piece, it's the redistribution of weight. And this, if you hear one thing from me all weekend long, is readjust your thinking about hair cutting. Hair cutting is not cutting different lengths into the hair. We are adjusting the weight distribution in hair. If you think more about adjusting where weight sits in the hair, and then you utilize short, pushing long hair to get those shapes, it's going to change the way you think about hair. So by creating these short and long pieces, that's what's creating texture, because it's establishing different points of weight. I've got a piece of weight right there, and that's why that looks separated and long, and then I don't have any weight right there.